Anyone who's been keeping up with the NFL draft or college football as a whole knows that the 2026 NFL draft is really weak at the running back position, but there's one guy who stands out way above the rest, and it's Jeremiyah Love out of Notre Dame. So I want to dive into film and see, is he really worth the top 10 pick, or is he just overhyped because every other running back in this class isn't the best? Let's dive into the film and check it out. On this first play right here, you see we're coming out in a 2x2 formation. We're going to motion our wide receiver in, and we're just going to run a simple inside zone. And all Jeremiyah Love has to do here is read this outside tackle, and if this DN comes inside, then he's simply breaking it to the outside and bursting upfield. And watch how explosive he is. Watch, gets to his outside, makes one cut, and goes downhill really hard. Let's look at it from the end zone view, because I think we can really see here the type of running back he is and see that, yeah, there's a little bit of something to his game, right? He's one of those explosive athletes that really moves like a Jahmyr Gibbs. But what I really want to point out, and something that I've noticed when watching his film that I'm going to constantly mention throughout this video, watch the forward lean when he runs. He's always going to fall forward on just about every run. Despite being a 6 foot 195 back, he's one of those guys who knows how to forward lean and get as many yards as possible. Okay, right here on this next one, you see we're in pistol, right? And we're going to be running a play action boot out here. But why I pointed this out, even though he's not going to catch the ball here, what I always care about in a running back is how much did the other team's defensive coordinator and how much do these other teams' linebackers and safeties respect the guy, right? Because I think you can sometimes get a feel for how good a running back truly is based on how many bodies get sent his way when there's a threat of him getting the football. So right here we run this play action, and I want you to watch. Everyone comes down hard thinking it's a run, and his guy takes him, opens up an easy pass on the backside for a boot, right? That's just because he's that type of running back. Watch here. At the snap, seems like he's getting it. Everyone's eyes are in the backfield. And it opens up your receivers and makes your job kind of easy. Okay, on this next one right here, we're going to have another handoff. But what I really want you to point out here is that guy makes it into the backfield on him early. And his explosiveness and his forward-leaning ability makes it where he falls forward for 10 yards. Right? He's so explosive that despite this guy getting an open run into the backfield, he leans his body away from him and attacks downhill and continues stumbling forward because he's leaning forward, naturally picking up yards. Okay, you see right here, we're in the pistol once again. He does a lot of his work out of the pistol, right? 11 personnel, so a kind of balanced set right here. And once again, find the hole, bursting directly through it. That's pretty much the name of his game, and that's what I like the most about him. He isn't afraid to get north to south quick, right? He's not going to do nothing really too much in the backfield, right? If we're going wide zone here, why keep pushing it out and getting steps when we can clearly see our cutback lane early, see that this guy's penetrated, and just go straight through here, right? And those are the running backs that are really successful in the league, right? The ones who don't take negative plays, because when you're a guy who's constantly battling negative plays and explosive plays, you're not going to get as much time on the field. Right here, look at this one. Has the burst to take this guy to the outside. Now, this is a rep that probably doesn't happen in the NFL because you're never going to see this bad of a pursuit angle in the league, right? This linebacker here, 54, just takes a terrible angle. But, I mean, to have that burst to kind of surprise a guy and get out wide like that is really, really impressive. Okay, right here, what I want to point out is, once again, see the hole, get to the hole, and go, right? Put that foot in the ground and explode. He runs a 4.3. This is what he's good at. And really, there's nothing too impressive with this film other than this and his hands, right? But this is all it takes. If you're really good at the fundamentals, if you can find the hole, put your head down, and take off straight through it, you're going to be successful in the NFL, right? Takes it, pushes it out wide, instantly puts that foot down and goes, right? You would like him to not put this foot in the ground here and try to juke, but instead just take off and get an extra about 5 or 6 yards. But we're continuing to fight forward, even there, falling forward once again because that forward lean. And then look here. This is one I've got as a good and a bad. Why do I say that? Well, it's because you see here he does a really good job once again pushing out wide, right? Seeing his cutback lane and getting there. But something that some people have pointed out, some scouts as well, watch how choppy his feet are here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Takes about 4 steps right here. You'd love for him to put that foot in the ground and go, right? Obviously, he probably just makes up his mind a little bit late here, but he wouldn't be able to get touched from this backside if he were able to cut back a little bit quicker. So he's one of those guys, when he's putting his foot in the ground, he's taking off forward and he's leaning forward, he's going to pick up 5, 6, 7, 8 yard gains every single time and be a really successful running back. But if he gets put in a situation where he's having to kind of second guess which hole he's going in, he doesn't cut the fastest in those situations, right? Even right here, watch, he's just the most successful when he's going downhill north to south. It's a great run right there by him. Now what I want to kind of start pointing out right here is his ability to just break tackles, right? Arm tackles are not going to get him down in the backfield because he does such a great job of having that forward lean, right? And I know I sound like a broken record here, but really, when you continue to just explode through holes and you continue to lean your body forward, at worst, all they can do is tackle you forward. Going to continue to fight, press up to his lineman, and churn those legs, and that's what you want to see from a running back in a pile, right? See how happy his O-linemen are to block for him. These are things you love to see, right? We're fighting for extra yardage. It would have been really easy for a guy as explosive as him to try to press his lineman here and then try to bounce this out wide and take like a 7-yard loss, like somebody like a Kenneth Walker would do, right? But instead, press into our O-linemen's backs, find the soft spot, and then fight for some yardage. Going to take a simple inside zone, find the hole, explode through it, right? This D lineman's going to reach out to us. You would really like to see us kind of cut this out wide if we were able to here so that we don't have to fight through the hole and come up this way. But he trusts, hey, I'm running hard enough, I can drop this shoulder and I'll get past him. Let's look at it from the other view right here. Simply got a double team right there. Climbing up, combo block, getting up to the next level on 21, put that shoulder down, fight, get in the end zone for a touchdown. Now, this is a big negative for me because as much as I talked about how great of a job he did getting north to south, putting his foot in the ground and going, this is an example of what happens when he doesn't do that, right? Put that foot in the ground like you just did and explode. Get as many yards as you can. Here's where that Kenneth Walker type of thing, that home run, like, hey, instead of picking up 10, let's try to score a 60-yarder comes out, and he tries to go outside of his lineman here, and 17's simply just going to rip it. And because he's as small as he is, when he's going side to side, that's a situation where he can be arm tackled, right? So we want to really get him forward leaning, going north to south, putting his foot in the ground, and going after his 3 to 5 steps, depending on what type of run it is. Right here, I want to point out his receiving ability because I think this is what kind of separates him. Watch right here. He's the caliber of receiver that we can line him up in the slot and run a slant, and they're going to use 2 guys, the hook defender and his man defender, to guard him, opening up slants behind because he's so scary when he gets the ball in his hand and he has receiver-type hands, right? Right here, we're going to run a simple rail route, and watch how great these hands are, right? Inside, we're trying to pick a defender, trying to go, and we're just trying to get this ball out there in front of him, hopefully have the linebacker on his back hip, but linebacker doesn't follow him at all. Not a bad pass, but definitely not an easy one to haul in, and man, what a catch. There's not many running backs that can catch that ball right there, and he's one of them. That's why some people have him going to Tennessee, right? Like, he's one of those super explosive guys who's able to make catches like that. He's almost a CMC type back, probably a faster guy who's not as technically sound by any means, but he's one of those do-it-all type of backs. Here, watch this. Get the ball into his hands in the flat, let him get you 10, right? He's one of those guys where you just want the ball in his hand, and that's a good thing to say about a running back. Now, do I think he's a Saquon Barkley or a Christian McCaffrey or a Derrick Henry or anyone like that coming out of college? I don't necessarily feel that way about him. I was higher on Derrick Henry, as you can tell, than most people were, but I do feel like he's a top 10 guy. I really liked him to go to the Chiefs. I liked him for that system way more than I liked Kenneth Walker. I don't know if they were feeling rumors that, hey, maybe the Titans were going to draft him or what, but I really think Jeremiyah Love is a top 10 running back most years when he comes out, right? Just simply because he's one of those guys. Right here, we're going to throw it to him. And we can take for granted running backs' hands a lot of time, and I know this isn't a super special catch or anything, but the fact that we're comfortable going to him for a check down, and there's no bobble, there's nothing, there's, hey, catch it, turn upfield, and go. I love that in a running back. And then I want you to see what happens next right after this play, because you're going to start to notice what kind of makes a guy like him special. When defenses have to pay attention to him, guess what? Everyone bites down, that's when you got a trick play. Right? These super explosive athletes who the defense is scared of the ball being in their hands, they benefit you in more than just what they can do, but what they can make the defense allow you to do. Right? Everyone flies downhill. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys who flew down in the box coming the other way. Now they're trying to get back on the other side. We've got an easy trick play that the coaches definitely found studying film because they went, hey, teams are over pursuing him because he's such a good player. Now, I know everyone's good in the league, but you can see that kind of skill set for Jeremiyah Love. This one right here, I think this is a bad decision by the quarterback, but this is once again another example where teams are worried about him, right? This guy's going inside because he sees it getting thrown out. He's going over here. He's going over here. And what does that leave us with on this back end? We got 3-on-3 with 15 yards off, right? Quarterback makes a wrong read here, in my opinion, but that's just some of the stuff that you can do with the guy who's this explosive, right? You can use him to your advantage. Now we're going to get into his pass protection reps in this game. Obviously, we get sacked up the middle right here. That's not on him. 70 has to release on that block. They've got to communicate better there. But watch, not the biggest of guys, 6 foot, 195, but he's willing to block for his quarterback, and that's what I care about. Are you one of those feisty kind of Isaiah Pacheco types who's not the biggest guy in the world, but you're going to get after it in pass pro for your quarterback? Stands this nickel up. I believe this guy was a nickel on Texas A&M. Look at this next one right here. Now we're going to go across to the other side. You see, he can handle safeties really, really well. Now, can he handle a guy like Nick Emmanwori on the Seahawks? I don't know about that. Can he handle a Bobby Wagner or someone of that size coming up the middle? I don't know about that. But he has a willingness and a tenacity in run blocking that I really like to see from a running back, and I think that's something that's not talked about enough from kind of the national media on these type of situations, right? So overall, my take on him is that he's worth a top 10 pick. Would I take him number 4 as the Titans? Probably not. I'd probably try to trade down. Once again, another pass pro rep right here. But, you know, this guy's one of one in this draft class because there's no other great running back, and I do think great is how you would describe him as a draft prospect, right? Super explosive when he sticks his foot in the ground. He's going to get you positive yardage 10 out of 10 times. He can get stood up from time to time by D linemen, but he's willing to pass protect for your quarterback. He's great getting north to south. Elite speed, running 4.3, elite quickness. Hands are probably going to instantly make him a top 10 running back in the league in regards to hands when he makes it in the league. So I really like that. I think Tennessee's a great spot for him. I just wish they'd trade down to do it, and I hope they don't take him at 4. Thanks for watching. Let me know down below what you think about